I think with India, there's a lot of potential in technological sector and having this, I would say, combination of ecosystems which have started to emerge now in India and Brazil. So based on that, there's a lot of potential to explore trade and investment opportunities.
Professor Umesh Mukhi, do mestrado profissional de gestão profissional, para falar sobre questões relacionadas a relações bilaterais Brasil e Índia, espiritualidade na administração e outros temas de liderança. Professor, muito obrigado por ter aceito o nosso convite. E a minha primeira pergunta é a seguinte: a gente tem uma informação que o intercâmbio comercial entre Brasil e Índia somou 7,5 bilhões de dólares em 2018. É possível incrementar ainda mais essa parceria?
I think there is a lot of potential to India-Brazil partnership. The investments from India's side have been relatively more in Brazil rather than Brazilian investments in India. And as we may be aware, that India is in process of strengthening the India-Mercosur Accord with Brazil. The relationship started in 2003. It was formalized in 2009. So we have around preferential tariffs for 449 goods or something around that. And there have been discussions to take those for around 2,500 to 3,000 tariff lines. So the idea is that if we are able to catalyze this partnership until 2030, we can reach the trade up to $30 billion US. Having said that, I think that bilateral relationships with India and Brazil need more impetus because traditionally Brazil has been exporting to countries like China, so it's mostly commodities-based exports. I think with India, there's a lot of potential in technological sector and having this, I would say, combination of ecosystems which have started to emerge now in India and Brazil. So based on that, there's a lot of potential to explore trade and investment opportunities.
Quer dizer que a Índia oferece oportunidades para produtos de maior valor agregado da pauta comercial brasileira, é isso? Do que a China, por exemplo, que a gente exporta mais commodities.
Exactly, exactly. And I think Brazil is still to capitalize on that because we are focused on our competencies to export. So we'll obviously look out for bigger markets. But then on the other hand, I think Brazil needs to capitalize on Indian intellectual talent and IT powers. So the Indian IT companies are already present here, but it is interesting that they are invisible in the plain sight. So you'd actually see a lot of Brazilian companies soliciting Indian services, but you don't see them upfront, which we don't think is the case in India as well. So we see that Brazil is exporting a lot of things to India, but we do not see that these are services you would see upfront as well.
Além desse aspecto econômico, professor Umesh, o que ambos os países podem ensinar um ao outro em termos de liderança?
Very good question. If you look historically at both countries, we can see that the geographical location of both the countries is very important for us to see what they can teach to the world. And I think Brazil and India share some commonalities in terms of diversity. That's the first thing, that how do you celebrate diversity and how do you manage country with such diverse population which brings itself with complex challenges, right? So the celebration of diversity, celebration of culture. Moving on, I think it's also about how these two countries share the passion about social transformation. We have complex challenges of dealing with any common problems with emerging economies face. And both countries have shown that with systemic changes in policies, you can actually tackle problems related to education, poverty, and financial inclusion. So that's the second point. And the third thing, which I also see that both societies, Brazilian society and Indian society, is somehow in the seek of higher values of ethics and governance. That what does it mean to be a just country? What does it mean to be a country which looks out to seek the valors of democracy? So it's a challenging path for both of them, but we are looking forward to that.
A Índia é um país célebre por cultivar uma intensa espiritualidade. A gente até comentou antes de começar aqui que é o marco de 150 anos do nascimento do Gandhi, né? Assim, como essa questão da espiritualidade do ser humano ela pode contribuir para aprimorar competências de liderança e melhorar o mundo como um todo, professor?
If you look at the origins of the word spirituality, it's interesting. It comes from Latin, spiritus, right? And it's one of the ancient languages. So you look at one of the most ancient languages, Sanskrit, spirituality means adhyatma. So it means that looking for self-realization, which is a higher process of inner seeking, and once you attain that, you become a responsible citizen. And if you look at what comes from spirituality and this ancient culture, the science of meditation, we are seeing now how the corporate world is embracing meditation and yoga practices. But I will go even beyond that. The process of spirituality is so interesting that once you go through that and understand that what is your role in this universe, you use it to channelize it for social purpose. So a person who is spiritual can use spirituality as a mechanism to bring political transformation, that is in the case of Gandhi, to bring social transformation, to bring transformation in education system like Rabindranath Tagore. And we have had phenomenal leaders produced in India, both men and women, who have played incredible role in bringing the world together.
Você falou um pouquinho na tua questão, um pouquinho sobre educação, transformações na educação, né? E agora, no mês de outubro, a ONU comemora no dia 5 de outubro o Dia Internacional do Professor e aqui no Brasil no dia 15 de outubro também, né? E hoje em dia é uma profissão que tem muitos desafios, né? Tem muita pressão, principalmente da tecnologia. A concorrência da tecnologia na sala de aula é uma coisa brutal, né? Como que é, na tua opinião, essa arte de formar alunos, formar seres humanos diante de todos esses desafios?
You know, in Sanskrit, the word teacher means guru. And the subtle meaning is the one who is the remover of darkness. So when I see myself in this role, like as a role of professor and being this I would rather say in between this millennial generation, it is challenging. I think we have a huge advantage of using the technology to our side. So we make the best of it to make learning fun, learning interesting and intellectually challenging. But at the same time, I do think that we have an interesting role to understand that how some of the basic principles of education are important for cognitive importance. So some of the traditional learning styles are also important. Now, apart from technical content of learning, at least I in my profession would see that how does my education brings in the common values, so which is about empathy, which is about compassion and tolerance. It's all about making our students better citizens of the world. So how do I bring that into my class? How do I bring that into my curriculum is a bigger question out there.
Ok. Professor, infelizmente a gente já está encaminhando aqui para o final da nossa curta conversa, mas foi muito produtiva. Eu queria terminar pedindo uma opinião tua em relação a uma fama que o executivo brasileiro geralmente tem, né? Que é uma flexibilidade grande e um poder de atuação em qualquer ambiente no mundo, né? Assim, você concorda com essa fala? Isso é verdade? Como é que você, na tua experiência aqui, dando aula aqui na FGV, você vê?
I do believe to some extent. I think the question is very contextual. As I said, the complexity in the emerging economies, the bureaucracy, the process is not easy to manage your way. So when you go out of Brazil, or I would say when you go out of India, it's the same thing. You get to know the subtle ways of managing things. You have capacity to manage complexity. So it's great. I would also say that inside Brazil, it's interesting because I was talking with Indian companies and we were discussing that there are some cross-cultural challenges between Brazil and Indians. So I would say that it is true to a larger extent for people who have larger exposure, the one who are able to go out. Inside, I think it's another level of discussion, which I think Brazilians are very good in adapting to any environment within Brazil as well.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado, professor Mestre. Foi ótima conversa. Assim, a gente abordou diversos aspectos assim, nesse curto período de tempo.
Thank you very much.